Okay, we have Coach Troy Lussenhop from the Brush Beet Diggers here. Troy, tell us how you're feeling after that state championship win.
You know, it like I was telling you earlier, it's a great feeling. There's no feeling like it coaching a state champion. It's the first one I've ever coached. I've been in the state finals with two other kids before. Alex Klopp from Yuma, who lost a tight match, and then last year Brush's Elijah Mora, and I just wasn't fortunate enough to win that title before. And Conrad Cole just came out and wrestled a great match from beginning to end. Stayed solid the whole match and came away with his 5th victory over Ruben Lucero, which it's hard to do. Hard to beat a kid 5 times. So.
And all of those matches this year have been close. Probably the least close was the dual tournament at Brush, but all the matches, even one went to overtime and been 1- and 2-point matches. Tell us about the match tonight.
Well, coming out, Conrad came out like a fireball. He came out, did exactly the game plan, stay on him, stay heavy, and come out quick, and we came out with a 5-point move. So anytime you come out with a 5-point move, that puts you in the driver's seat, and pretty much all you got to do is stay solid and not make any mistakes. The one mistake we did make was in the first period after we got our 5-point move. We almost got caught in a Peterson roll for 5, but Conrad decided to bail and give them 2, which was another. When you lose 2 matches all year, there's a reason, and that's because your mat awareness is spot on. Everything he does on the mat is tremendous. So came out up 5, gave up 2 at the end of the first, and then it's 5-2. I give Ruben Lucero a lot of credit. Most kids, when they get down 5, they give up, and he kept pushing. He really wanted that title, but Conrad's resiliency was amazing. He stayed after him on bottom. On bottom, the 4 matches before that, he had come off bottom great, and the kid couldn't hold us down. Well, he showed up with a different game plan and rode us pretty hard, so Conrad had to work real hard to get out, and sure enough, he did, and he got out once more, ended up winning 6-5. There was a couple of stall calls on us there. One where we had a crossface going, and we were working a pick and step crossface cradle series, and he dinged us for stalling, which I wasn't happy with. And the one before that where we were on bottom, just fighting hands, hand fighting down on bottom, he dinged us again. So those are a couple stall calls that I thought shouldn't have happened. So it made it a tight match, made it interesting at the end, but Conrad held him off and ended up getting a 1-point victory. Like you said, that's happened 4 times. So,
and we up here, we didn't agree with the stalling calls either. And we're 6 stories up, but we could still see Conrad was really working on top, cross-facing, and Lucero was just belly down, not doing anything. I thought if the stall would go one way, it should have gone Lucero's way, but it didn't.
Exactly.
Just made Conrad work a little harder.
It did, and in the same way, the refs, I kind of think they try to make it interesting. So, but he held them off. He was up 6-5 with, I think, I looked at the clock and there was 15 seconds left. And I don't know how many times in the room we've gone through that scenario. You're up by 1. You got 15 seconds left. You got a stall call. You can't get another one. Conrad went straight to ankle, a little knee pick. Picked the ankle and the knee, got down on the legs, and tried working a little Turk, and sat there, beautifully finished it off. So had me nervous, but I lost my voice too.
Yeah, you're right. Watching Conrad all year, just mature beyond his years as far as mat presence and how he does things, and we're just real proud of how he did. You brought 10 to the state tournament. ended up medaling 6, and I know as a coach you're always expecting more, but I think Beat Digger Nation is proud, and tell us about some of those kids that performed up here.
Well, I'll start off. We've talked a little bit about Conrad. Wrestled a great year, period. Lost to 2 top-ranked kids in the state in 5A and 4A. One, which is in 4A, that's probably one of the top 6 toughest wrestlers in the state. So he had a great season from top to bottom. Should have beat the 5A number 1 kid at UNC. So he's just a kid I'm happy to have for the next 2 years. And then you go on to pretty much the whole lineup's going to be kids I'm happy to have for the next 2 years, because it's probably one of the most solid lineups here at the state tournament. And it's just awesome to be a part of Beat Digger Nation, and having all these kids it's just tremendous as a coach. So Mackie Sandoval is another sophomore. He's a 2-time state placer. To place as a freshman is tough, very tough. And he's a kid that he gets to the state tournament. I mean, he's up and down throughout the year, but once he walks into the Pepsi Center, puts on his game face. And I really believe that 120s was definitely one of the toughest weights in 3A. So.
I looked through it, and I think it was probably the toughest weight.
Yeah, exactly.
For him to place 6th in it, I think he ought to be proud of that.
And he, Mackey's hard on himself. He thinks I took 6th as a freshman. I should be taking 3rd as a sophomore, and I should be winning 2 state titles. But as we all know, it doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of work in the off season, and hopefully Mackey sees that and just gets that work in, the work he needs to wrestles freestyle and whatnot. So he's got 2 great years ahead of him. You also have Alec Peterson, another sophomore, who ends up taking 6th, and that's another very tough weight class, and that's a weight class where 1st and 6th place are 1 point away. I mean, you wrestle that next week, it could be completely different. So Peterson wrestled a great year all around. His feet is looking great right now. I just hope we can carry it over to next year and come away a lot higher than he was, because I know his goals are to be a state champion. So he'll definitely reach that goal if he keeps working like he is.
Yeah, and Alex's losses weren't big losses or pins. They were very close matches in all of them that he lost. So those could have gone either way.
Oh, yeah, Cole Kelly, who took 3rd from Alamosa, there was a horrible call on the edge of the mat to start it off, and we went down 2-0, and then we fought all the way back, and we ended up losing 4-2 on the end on a reversal at the end of the match, which Alamosa's good on bottom, but we had to saddle up and ride, and he reversed us with like 15 seconds left. Otherwise, we beat him in overtime. So, I mean, Peterson could have been in the finals tonight. You never know. It just didn't go our way this year, but we got 2 years left, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. And then we move on to 45's Bo Rocha, and he gave up about 16 pounds to every kid he wrestled. I remember him coming out of weigh-ins, and the kid he wrestled first round on the backside said, "Wow, I wrestle a kid. Did he really weigh 135 pounds?" And the kid shakes his head and says, "Yep." And he's like, "Wow, I'm going to kill him." Bo comes out, wrestles a great match. He got put in a tough side in the bracket, and he fought his way all the way back and really had that chance to win that match this morning to place, and didn't quite get it. So Rocha's going to come back hungry next year, and I definitely see him as a state placer.
Yeah, and Rocha, 16 pounds under, but you don't know how much weight those other guys are cutting. There's probably a good 25, 30 pounds difference, in reality.
In reality, yeah, that kid he wrestled this morning could have been cutting from 52, 55, and he's already ballooned up to that by the time we wrestle him, so you never know. But Rocha's a fighter. He believes in himself, and he's another one of those kids when he steps into the Pepsi Center, he's a gamer, so he's ready to go. And then the worst story of the state tournament's a kid that you know, has taken. Are we off? He's taken a team in Brush. We got a very young team, and we needed a little leadership. And I throw it all on Jake Morrow. Jake Morrow gathered these kids together. He turned our chan instead of Brush. We say family, and because it is a family, you spend day and night with these kids. You work your butt off in the room with these kids. You bleed, sweat with them. And Jake took the leadership to a next level, and I was really hoping we could get him into the state finals because I thought he'd definitely have a chance to win his state title. He was a kid that spent 15 to 20 minutes after practice. I'd have to tell him to go home before he'd get out of there. So he worked his butt off, and unfortunately things didn't go his way. But, you know, I give him a lot of credit. He brought this team, which is very young, to become one, and the leadership role he took was amazing. I'm so proud of that kid. So we'll move on to 60s, Tyler Stratman, and he's also like Jake, except Jake's the vocal leader, and Tyler Stratman's just the lead by example. He's a quiet kid, but he's a kid that's wrestled 2 years his whole life, and he qualifies for the state tournament. So, and he beat a 5th-ranked kid in the state last year at the regional tournament. So it was a great victory last week, and he just happened to not get any wins this year at the state tournament. So Tyler Stratman's going to do great things in his future, though.
170-pounder Kyle Rosenbrock.
You know, this is a kid that we got about every 2 weeks. We got about 4 practices with him, and this is a sport that is built on repetition. So we got some work to do, but this is a kid that is so unbelievably strong and athletic in the mindset he comes into wrestling, because I believe wrestling is close to 99% mental. I mean, you got to have the mental toughness. And anytime you talk to Kyle Rosenbrock, it is Kyle Rosenbrock. That's all you're going to get, you know. And he is always focused and ready to go. So he is one of those kids that will give 110% in anything he does, and he'll be playing basketball with the Brush Beat Diggers next week, coming off a 3rd place win at 170s at the state championship in Colorado. So it was a great season by him, and I believe if he won his regional match last week, he'd be wrestling Copeland in the finals tonight. So he definitely, you could see it in his eyes, he wants that state title. And you'll see him back here next year, and I think he'll get his state title. He'll end up probably wrestling Burciaga next year in the state finals is my guess. But the kid's always wants to be the best at what he does. So I'm pumped to have that kid on my team, and he is probably the best athlete I've ever been around. So
yeah, and his only loss of the tournament was to Caleb Copeland, and what a wrestler that kid is.
Oh, yeah, definitely top. We were talking about it earlier. At least top 5, maybe even top 3 in the state.
Yeah, in the whole state of Colorado, all classifications, just an animal.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then at 95s, we had Tristan Teeter, who transferred from Pooter, a 5A school, came to Brush and has done a tremendous job. He came into the year, and I thought we would have a lot of work to do, but he's just a goer, and he'll go until he gets that victory. There's a lot of things we got to work on. He didn't win a match here, but at least he got a taste of the state tournament. So he's a kid I'm very excited to get back, and once again, he's a sophomore as well as Rosenbrock. So there's numerous sophomores in the lineup. We'll move on to 220s. Joe Carwin, who is another sophomore as well, had a great tournament. I really was looking at him being in the state finals against Shute from Eaton, but you know, I think taking 5th for Carwin was good. It'll make him hungry for next year. I think he'll be ready to go. I really want him to get his mentality down, his mental toughness. In the tunnel, sometimes you can see his eyes, and they're big, and you can just tell in his mind he's thinking he's going to lose, you know. So the mental toughness part is all Carwin needs to work on because the athleticism's there. He knows how to wrestle. He's very mat savvy. He's just got to get in his head that he's the best wrestler in the state.
Moves really well and strong for a 220-pounder, but I would agree comes out there like a sophomore sometimes.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He wrestles better than that a lot of times.
Yeah, he does. When the Joe Carwin shows up that should show up, he does great things, and you see that in the kid. It most of the time it's Joe Carwin, but when he's in a big match, sometimes he freaks out. So that'll come with time, I'm hoping. It's really hard to coach mental toughness, but we'll figure out a way. And then we'll end off with Oscar Soto, who was JV all year and then comes to the state tournament and takes down a 7-footer this morning. And then they picked top, and he ended up pinning us. But Oscar Soto is a kid we worked so hard on him. We knew he could be good. He's very light on his feet for a 260-pound kid. Always smiling, always positive, and we just need to figure out a way to get the anger out of Oscar because he's always the nice guy, the positive guy, you know, which the positive part's awesome, but we need to get him mad. And we do it in the wrestling room. We just got to figure out a way to get it going before a match. But other than that, he came out and beat Jose Rodriguez, who was number 9 in the state for us. And it was his spot. He won it the last wrestle-off of the year. If he didn't win, he would have been done, and he won it. Went on to regionals, took 4th, and then almost places at the state tournament. I think he won 2 matches or 3.
Yeah, he won 2 matches, and that first match was really winnable. And up here, we found out he had the flu, and he looked like he ran out of gas in that first match, and he only lost that thing 3-2. And if he'd have won that, he could have easily placed. But you know, Oscar had a great season. He's only a junior, so he'll be back. He got a taste of the state tournament and the Pepsi Center, and it's addicting. You want to come back, so he's going to work hard in the wrestling room next year, and I see him doing great things. So really, you got 10 kids. We're losing 2 of them, so we'll have 8 state qualifiers returning next year. And then you can't forget about Arnaldo Maltos Garcia, who took 5th at regionals, who's another very tough kid, and he's only a freshman. You also got Zane Fow, who's another really tough kid. Another sophomore.
Yeah, exactly.
You're loaded with sophomores, and you're loaded with underclassmen, a couple juniors, freshmen. Got a decent class coming up out of 8th grade. What are your expectations for next year?
You know, I see nothing less than having a goal at a state title, trying to take home the state title next year and then repeat it when these guys are seniors. But really, if you set your goals high, it's a great thing, and you can't say we're going to take top 3 again next year because I believe in my heart that this team has it. They've all been here a couple times. Some of those sophomores have been here twice, and next year's the year. Alamosa wins it this year. They're graduating 7 of 10. So, you know, they're losing a lot of kids, and I'm sure they got a great Pee-wee program and kids coming up through the ranks.
And Bennett and Valley also have some older kids that are graduating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, you know, Valley's always going to be tough, let's face it. But I think Beat Digger Nation should be looking to bring home a state title next year, and definitely already set our goal. I'm not even going to talk to the team about it because I know how they feel. A state title is what we're going for.
Well, Coach Troy Lussenhop, thank you for your time. I know you've got friends and family and fans out there to get to, so thank you very much, and we appreciate talking to you.
Hey, thanks for covering it.